On the face of it, a conference of national conservatives in Brussels, the home of the deeply anti-democratic International Socialist European Union, was never going to go down well, was it? The National Conservative Conference, attended by Suella Braverman, Nigel Farage and Viktor Orban, and scheduled to run for 2 days, was kicked out of one venue, then kicked out of a second venue, and having finally succeeded in finding a venue for their conference of ideas, debate and networking, found themselves being shut down by the police at the behest of the Mayor of Brussels, Emir Keir. Police allowed those inside the building to stay, but with no access to food or drinks. Nobody else was allowed into the building, and those that chose to leave were not granted re-entry. All seems a bit fascisty, doesn't it? The Mayor of Brussels is reported to have said, "The extreme right is not welcome in this city." Bit tricky, because everyone's far right these days, aren't they? Half my neighbours are far right, because they don't have a Free Palestine poster in their front windows. The bloke who runs the cafe down the road from me is far right, because he won't let men in dresses use the women's toilets. My dog's far right, because he's oblivious to endemic systemic oppression experienced by vulnerable minorities in the workplace. If the mayor of a major European city kicks out every resident who's been smeared as far right, he's probably going to lose about 70 to 80% of the population. And unfortunately, they're the ones doing all the work, running businesses and paying their taxes. All he'll be left with are asylum seekers and non-binary millennials, none of whom have a job and all of whom are subsisting on state benefits. Still, it's all very shocking. You just wouldn't expect authorities in Brussels to orchestrate the arrest of people engaging in free speech on private premises, would you? I mean, it's not Scotland, is it? In all seriousness, you can't blame the city of Brussels for getting behind the global despots of the European Union. If it wasn't for the EU, Brussels would purely be known as the home of arguably the world's biggest, most high-profile paedophile ring, counting magistrates, politicians, businessmen and, yes, policemen amongst its members, that existed for at least a quarter of a century before the 1990s and is possibly still going now for all any of us know. Besides all that, if you've been to Brussels, you'll know the architecture is dreary and the food is diabolical. So the EU is really the only thing propping up the Brussels economy. They simply can't have democracy championing anti-EU libertarians just turning up and congregating at a pre-booked venue for civilised conversations. It's unthinkable. What's the world coming to? Don't forget to subscribe and support me on Patreon for exclusive content every week. New live stand updates in London, Southampton, Southend and Eden. Ticket links beneath this video. Have a nice day.